Sons of Atticus are a two-piece band who are just as good live as they are in recordings. They released the album Jacks Motel in 2021 and the single Sad Song in July this year. They are Matt Joyce and Dylan Wright, and hello to you both.
Hello.
Hey, Sophie, how are you?
Very well, thank you. And I did really enjoy seeing you play live earlier this year and have so enjoyed listening to the album and the new single. But I'm going to start at the beginning. How did the band form?
Well, we grew up in the same area, not really knowing each other. We kind of knew of each other, followed each other on social media eventually. I honestly think my mum went and saw Dylan play and was like, "You've got to check out this guy. He's really great." Doing his solo stuff, and I sort of started following him on social media, and then I think we were in the market to sort of buy a similar looking guitar, so we started to chat about it, and then we eventually crossed paths, and just hit it off as friends, like, relatively recently, maybe about 4 or so years ago, and really, bonded over the fact that we loved old music, and I mean, I like to think that we bonded over the fact that we both hated coffee as well. But Dylan has actually recently joined the dark side on that, and I'm not too happy about it, to be honest. That's when the relationship became more of a business acquaintance and a friendship. But
Before I go on to Dylan, Matt, I will ask about your mum though. So clearly she's very involved in your musical life, or maybe encouraged you as a musician.
Yeah, absolutely. I was a little bit late to the party with it. Like I always kind of had instruments around trying to get introduced to me, but I wasn't really having a bar of it. I actually got pretty frustrated with like the idea of guitar and just needing to instantly change shapes on things you spent all this time getting used to. And yeah, so I think it was about 14 or 15, something changed and clicked, and I just got hooked on guitar and really obsessed with it. And then again, even later to that, I probably wasn't until about 18 or so I started, entering that songwriting realm, which it's so impressive to see, I think, since entering this, even just this Australian country music world, just how many young people there are that are just have been doing that. Dylan's Dylan's been writing songs forever as well, but I think just even me being a little later to it all, mainly starting as a guitarist, I've just been blown away with how many people are just absolutely nailing it, at such a young age. In answer to your actual question, yes, Mum has always been very supportive of, me trying to, just follow that kind of thing. She, I say so many times, when it comes to us having gigs, I'm like, you don't have to come to this one if you don't want to. It's going to be pretty similar to the one you came to last week, but she's, always keen to get involved with it all. So it's great.
Oh, it's wonderful. She's proud of you, quite clearly.
Absolutely. Yep.
And so Dylan, now I'd like to know what you were doing that made Matt's mum pay attention.
Well, I used to play in my Speedos. No, just kidding.
Well, that'll do it.
I don't know. I've been playing solo for, I don't know, over 10 years. So, and we used to live in Cronulla, so I'd always play down there at the Brass Monkey. Yep. And I guess she came across me one night. And then, Matt and I, we used to live around the corner but never met. And then we met at a festival in Cronulla at a Mexican place. So I got gout the next day and Matt didn't go to work. So, yeah.
I shudder to think what you consumed that you got gout the next day. Yeah. But I'm presuming this was pre-pandemic because it was a festival.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was, we were living.
Living wild and free.
Living like kings. Yeah.
So when you first when you first met, you started talking about music. Did you discover that you had in fact been listening to a lot of the same music, or just that you had the same intentions regarding making music, or both?
Yeah, I think I'll jump in there, Matt, because I know the question. I think we bonded over our love of like Elvis and Johnny Cash and the old school country, Chris Stapleton, new school. And then I got Matt up to play with me a few times, and then we kind of played a bit more together. And then the idea came, I don't know how it came across, but one of us was like, maybe we should just start writing songs together or see what comes out. And country just blossomed out of that. So, I felt just so easy.
Mm-hmm. Right. And
I
you're
agree.
only... Sorry, go on.
Sorry.
Oh, you go, Matt.
I was just going to add to that I've like prior to sort of meeting Dylan, like I played in and out of various bands that were all just, very different genres to country, like kind of hard rock, punky, alt rock kind of stuff. And I've always enjoyed playing that kind of stuff from a guitarist point of view. But I think once I started trying to songwrite a little bit more and then met Dylan, it's just that country, I guess that kind of music that I just think of when I grew up listening to, going on road trips with my family and things like that. It just, that just simple, honest music I really resonated with, and it just, that inspiration was there, and it just made, it just started making songs, and I felt finally like I found a genre in an area that I felt more content with being involved in.
So when you first started jumping up on stage with Dylan, because as he said he would get you up to play with him from time to time, did it feel just like this very easy communication, musical communication? Because that happens, between musicians.
Yeah. I'd like to say yes, and I also say no. And still to this day, he constantly will, throw me under the bus with songs, or like when it comes to set lists, we'll write one set list down, and then he'll start saying a song that we're going to play that's not even on there, or he'll just bring out a new song, and then sometimes I haven't even heard it, and it keeps me on my toes, and I've got to try and, what key is it in? Okay, I'm going to try and make up something to this now, because we're doing this for the first time apparently. So yeah. Or like, we could talk about it.
But Matt's just so good at what he does that I like to do that. I like to see him under pressure, and he just nails it every time.
So this is obviously it's rather than you just willfully forgetting the set list or not wanting to follow it. This is a purposeful test for Matt, right?
Yeah.
That's what
is this saying. The truth?
Every time.
So Matt, do you feel this is true, or do you?
Yeah, look, I'm a little hesitant about that answer, but no, but like as I said, there's both sides to it, because there's that side of it, but I think it just felt very natural, and I think because the whole thing stemmed from a friendship, and people have said that, I guess, when they comment on watching us play live, there is that element of kind of banter between us, as well as what's happening, I guess, with the audience, where you can just kind of tell we're mates. On top of the fact that we're playing music together, it just feels very natural. Where it's like we're hanging out, but we're also playing music for people. It's best of both worlds. So it's made it really easy to blend in both.
Well, having seen you play live, that was definitely there. It was like, and it's that thing when musicians make it easy for the audience to be there, and that's a gift to an audience, because it means they could just sit back and relax. And I remember as soon as you started playing, thinking, oh great, oh yeah, okay, this is going to be good. I can just sit here, and it was so entertaining. But Dylan, you've been playing on your own for a while, so was it just did it feel like a big thing to start playing with someone else, or did it just feel like a natural development for you because it was Matt?
So much more relaxing.
Okay.
I feel like I have to work so much harder when I'm by myself. I've had bands in the past. I was in like an 11-piece brass band, and other bands along the way. So yeah, when Matt's there, it just feels so nice and so easy, and we can, if I stuff up a song or forget lyrics, he's there to be like, yeah, these are the ones. So it's just nice to have that, friendship there next to me, and we're doing it together and just enjoying the ride.
Yeah, and I think the audience definitely picks up on that, and it's in the recordings as well. You said you were in a brass band. Which instrument did you play?
Vocals.
Okay. Voice is an instrument. Because I was going to say, how many instruments do you play?
I wish I always wanted to play trumpet.
Right.
But guitar and vocals. Yeah, not guitar in the brass band, but just vocals.
Right. So when you started writing songs together, this is a question for either one of you, was there a bit of stop-start in getting your rhythm together, or did it just pretty much click from the start?
I think it's funny, because I think when people ask, someone, how do you write a song? I don't know if people have certain recipes that they go through or formulas that they do, because for me personally, it seems so different every time, from coming up with a whole song in a little thing that you just blurt out in the moments there, and it's great, to doing a verse or a verse and a chorus, and it's like, well, maybe I'll revisit that later because I'm not sold on the rest of it yet. And Dylan and I have this mix of like, I'll come to him with completely finished songs, and we might be like, cool, let's run with that, or let's tweak it a bit. Dylan will do the exact same thing, or there is times where we will get together, and I think it's just because we've both got also a lot going on in our lives outside of music too. It's like the times that we are together, we're doing other things on top of trying to fit in songwriting as well. So we definitely we work well together, I think, when it comes to, like, for instance, this song that we are releasing on Friday was one of those hybrids between the both of us, where it got kicked off by one of us, and then we both worked together on actually making it that, and that's starting to appear more and more now as we progress, songs that are from the both of us, and yeah, so I think we've got a really good thing going where we can have full ideas for ourselves, because I mean, Dylan's a phenomenal songwriter. He's been doing it for a lot longer than me, so I'm more than happy to sit back and be like, all right, what's he got? Let's how can we complement it?
That actually happened with the song coming out on Friday, Sore Eyes. Matt sent it through, and it was a bit slower, and I was like, I could hear it just a bit quicker. I was like, oh yeah, and he sent something through over the weekend, and it was just a bit slower, and I was like, oh yeah, it's good. And then I sent it back to him with a few tweaks, and it was just like completely different. It was just so much quicker.
There's always a tempo thing. It's definitely a trend.
So has any of this tweaking prompted any arguments between you?
Not yet.
Not yet. We're actually pretty kind about it. We might still be in that, that fluffy period where we're not, we're not being like, nah, that sucks. Where we kind of like might just sort of be like, what if we tried it this way? And we'll just see. We have that kind of running joke between us that, like, we're pretty comfortable to share ideas, even if it's not going to be something we run with, and we joke around saying like, well, you got to go there. You got to go there to know that it sucked, or we need to make it better.
Yeah. So it seems you're pragmatic about that editorial process of working together on a song. It's like because you're each other's editors, and it can require a bit of a thick skin to be edited by someone else. But as I said, it seems like you're pragmatic about it, which makes for a better song.
Absolutely.
So the new single, Sore Eyes, Matt, what is it about? Tell us.
Well, this was one of those ones where I started off, and then I was even surprised that it's come to fruition in this way, and it's one that we're running with, because initially it was like, I remember sitting around and I just wrote a verse and a chorus, and sometimes Dylan and I would pretty much chat on the phone every day about all sorts of general business, but sometimes I'll just flick him a song idea or something as just like a little challenge or something, be like, have a crack at that, try and finish it or something like that. So I just kind of kicked it off. Just normally stuff that I write is pretty honest and kind of from my own experiences, but this one was a different kind of case at the time. But I was trying to put myself in the shoes of someone like Dylan, or some friends that have perhaps like a wife and and a family and things like that, and that kind of stress and strain of being on the road and trying to pursue your dreams and work hard in that aspect, but trying to balance the both of that, and obviously the inevitable thing of severely missing everybody that you're away from at that time.
Yeah. And what I haven't asked yet, and I meant to ask earlier on, and maybe Dylan, I'll put this question to you. Where does the band name come from?
Yes. It comes from, I suck at naming things. I find
maybe you're the wrong person to ask then.
No.
He came up with it.
Okay. Yeah, I came up with it. That's why. I had a band, and I named it. I think I named it, or someone else named it. It was Toys of Counterculture. Interesting. So not great, right? So I had an idea. I love To Kill a Mockingbird, the book and the movie, and I love Atticus Finch. So I thought he was a really cool character, and it was that Southern Americana kind of thing. So Sons of Atticus was born.
So Gregory Peck was in your mind.
Yes.
And you named it. Yes.
Yes, because initially we were going old school, like CW, Charlie Crockett kind of vibes. And I was just trying to think of that really old school. Yeah, Atticus Finch was the one.
And Matt, how did you feel about that when it was suggested?
I was pretty happy to just have a name at the end of the day, because as Dylan said, I just coming up with names. I don't know why. It's like, doing the songs and all that other stuff seems to come come so naturally. But I don't know if it's just because of the hype of it. It's just that thing that's locked in, and it's like, okay, once you've got it. But I don't know. I just don't really. I'm just not very good at that either. The only thing that I was just happy to run with that. But the only thing that I could really come up with at the time that I thought sounded cool was like the name Jacks Motel. But I didn't say that as an artist name. I just thought, I like it. I like the way it sounds. It kind of sounds a bit Western. It's got it like that. Jack is a bit cutting. But I didn't see it as an artist name, and I thought, maybe that's an album or a song or something down the track. And then I remember I sat around one night and I wrote a full song titled that, and then we thought that's kind of where the EP stemmed from. We're like, maybe we'll turn that into a little journey within itself. So yeah.
And that is a great segue, because my next question is about Jacks Motel, and it's 8 songs, and it's only 22 minutes long with those 8 songs, but weirdly, or maybe not weirdly, it never feels like the songs are short. And I think it's because there are complete stories in there. And I feel like I've been on a journey throughout each song. So when I was actually looking at the length of it, I thought, wow, like it doesn't feel like these are necessarily very short songs. So I'm wondering if you often start with the story that you want to put into a song. And that's why we get these worlds within each song.
Well, the idea of Jacks Motel was actually meant to be, and I guess due to maybe some of the labeling, when you look at it, it looks like it's almost like an album length. But the whole idea was it was meant to actually be an EP of 6 regular length songs.
Okay.
And halfway through it, you've got kind of like an interlude, and at the end, it's kind of like an exitlude kind of thing, where you've got these songs that are just we put somewhat in an order, but then in those 2 little kind of 1 minute and a half songs, you can tell the recordings get a bit rougher around the edges. You can kind of hear a bit of background chatter and clapping and whatever. And it's meant to be, you're getting taken in that little world for that little moment of time. But then, that happens, and okay, we're back into the songs or back into the EP. And then we just finished on a little bit of it was meant to be a bit of a cheery kind of, sing along. If you're in that world, they'd maybe be sing along drinking songs that were well known. Should you have been in that world where Jacks Motel was an actual thing.
Yeah, actually, I didn't think they sounded rough around the edges. Anyway, that's just me as a listener. Listen to it.
Probably Dylan's voice. It's Dylan's beautifully smooth tone.
Quite possibly. And the title track, since you wrote it, Matt, I'll ask you, is synonymous with, where in the title track, Jacks Motel is synonymous with being in the doghouse. It's basically, I'm out of here. I've got to check into Jacks Motel because I've done the wrong thing. Was this written from experience?
Well,
Dylan's laughing.
No. Well, Jacks Motel, again, I think, it's meant to be one of those places that you would go to kind of, I guess, escape your woes and things like that. But I can funnily enough, when it came to coming up with the project idea and the songs we were writing at the time, it just kind of worked out that the songs we were selecting by chance happened to be lyrically all songs that I'd written. So the whole thing as a body does hold like a lot of personal experiences and a lot of certain moments in my life, which I was really, really nervous about when it came to the release of it, because it was like I'm sharing a lot of stuff here that, even though some of it is in a bit of a might be in a little bit of an upbeat country kind of song, it's like that's that classic thing with some old country music, is it's like some of the lyrics can be a little bit dark or a little bit down, but they're masked by these kind of jolly country tunes sometimes. So yeah, no, in the sense that it wasn't necessarily specifically about me being in the doghouse, but it was more about I guess me not wanting to be portrayed as the person that someone might have thought I was like.
Yeah, and contains the great line, that you're smelling of Tanqueray and clothes that haven't been washed. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, that is good. That is so evocative. It's a little icky.
Yeah, lyrics you can smell.
That's right. So the single that was released in July this year is Sad Songs, and the refrain is that nothing like a sad song passes time. So Dylan, I'll start with you. What is your favourite sad song or sad songs?
Whoa. Jeez, I am
Putting you on the spot. Yeah.
Wow. There's so many, I think. I think I grew up on the Beatles and Elvis and Jack Johnson. And there's so many sad songs, especially with the Beatles and Elvis. And I also love that gospel-y kind of aspect as well. And getting into westerns, old westerns and things. I think with sad songs, I went down that kind of route of just thinking about the past and things that happen to us and make us who we are. And you get to the bottom of the barrel of singing all those sad songs, and ours is the last one you get to.
It's kind of lovely and also quite sad, but no, I understand what you mean, and it's a great way to do it. Matt, your sad songs?
Yeah, good way to divert the question there, Dylan. But we'll get back to the song from you. As Dylan said, all that old country, Elvis, Patsy Cline, Johnny Cash, all that kind of stuff. I really, I just came back from the States and did the whole Graceland sing for the second time, actually. But, songs like Are You Lonesome Tonight and those real, it's just an acoustic guitar and the vocal, and it's just so raw and honest. And, that's one song to pick from. But as Dylan said, you could probably come up with at least 10 that are, that hit the feels. But we'll run with that one for me.
Well, I think yes, with sad songs, it's a bit like pressing a bruise. It's that's the function they serve, and sometimes we all need to do that. And now, Dylan, you've recently relocated away from parts near Sydney. You're in northern New South Wales, and Matt is not. So logistically, So how the Sons of Atticus going to work? The songwriting, obviously, you can do over Zoom, but playing wise, I'm sure you have a plan.
Yeah, playing wise is difficult. Writing songs, like we said, Matt threw me an idea the other day, and I threw him one back. So it feels natural, and when we get together, it just feels like all these songs come out of us. Mm-hmm. Playing wise is tough. We've just had our second child, so
congratulations.
A bit chaotic, thank you. So she's almost 2 weeks old, so it's a bit crazy, especially with a 3-year-old. But we're trying to figure out when we can get together, and we're getting to Tamworth in January and trying to do some more recordings. But I'm really trying for Matt to get up here, so it's just easier.
We just have to be organized with it. Like we just try to set ourselves, obviously we're looking into everything for next year and trying to book ahead, but we just try to be strategic with it. We knew that Dylan was going to be pretty busy at the moment, just with the second baby on the way and stuff. So that's why I kind of organized my trip away to be at that time. I normally go in July, but then that's when we were like, we could do a bunch of shows here when we release when we released Sad Songs. We kind of coordinated a little mini South Coast kind of tour along with that. So I saved it for then and to do the trip now. So Dylan's got a bit of that time. And then, we're just kind of gearing up for Tamworth, and anything that we do while we're apart, we just try to, make it worth the trip. If we're gonna do a Sydney show, then let's do one before it and do one after it. So if one of us is coming down or I'm going up there, we're making it worth the while, and just with a few expenses and things like that.
And Dylan, meanwhile, you have the perfect built-in audience to test out songs, because children can be very tough critics.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of Frozen going on at the moment. And she loves actually Harry Potter, so we do a bit of Harry Potter. I don't know if you know Pippi Longstockings.
Oh yes.
I just put that album on Spotify, so that's perfect.
Right. But no, I'm talking about your songs being played.
Yeah, I know. I tried, actually. I did write a song the other week called Daddy's Girl, and she'll come up to the guitar and like press the buttons, and she wants to hear Daddy's Girl, so that's cute.
Well, that's good. You've got a well-trained.
Yeah.
So by the time this interview comes out, Sore Eyes will have been released. So I'm going to say congratulations in advance for the release. And sounds like the next time people can catch you live will be at the Tamworth Country Music Festival. And I've had you both talking for a while, and you have a very new child, Dylan. So I think it's probably time for me to let you go and sleep.
Good. You're fine.
But Matt, Dylan, Sons of Atticus, it was so good to talk to you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate your time.
It was great fun. Thank you.